What's up, guys? Hi, and welcome to Uncle Scott's Pancast. Normally, I start every Pancast out with a toast. We'll get to that here in just a few minutes, but we got something more important than that going on today, and that is Defuzzified. Talked to them a few days ago, and they have given us here at Uncle Scott's Kitchen, Uncle Scott's Pancast, a special discount code of 30% off carbon steel at Defuzzified. That is an absolutely screaming deal. Thank you to them for doing so. If you have had your eyes on any Mineral B or Mineral B Pro carbon steel cookware, now is the time to jump on it. In my 4 years or so of covering Defuzzified cookware, this is the biggest discount I have ever seen on carbon steel, and it's just for us. So jump on it. Now, how do you get the deal? You use the affiliate shopping link below the video in the description. I will also post it on Twitter and on the Facebook sites. And when you get to the checkout, use discount code SCOTT30. That's SCOTT30. And you get 30% off of carbon steel. If you happen to be watching this video on a television, and I know a certain percent of people are, it's difficult to click on anything when you're watching on TV. You can go to unclescottskitchen.com and it will be at the top of the front page there. Okay, later in the Pancast, I will run through some of the history, if you're interested, some of the history of Uncle Scott's Kitchen and Defuzzified. Kind of a little bit of an interesting story there, if anybody wants to stick around for that. Okay, now we can have our toast. I was going to grab a Guinness. Which one of these beers is a Guinness? It's actually a trick question. They are both Guinness beers. This is the more traditional Guinness. This is what I think of as a Guinness. Very dark. Pretty doggone good, if you ask me. But this is the one we were talking about last time. This is the Guinness Baltimore Blonde, which is now no longer brewed in Baltimore, but in New York State. So let's give this a sip and see what we think of it. Pretty good beer as well. My only problem with this beer is the name. I think it should be called something else. It's tasty. I would order another one of those. If I am at a bar though and go up to the bar and order a Guinness, this is the one I am expecting. All right, now some of you might note that I am a little less hairy than I have been of late. My wife came to me the other day. We got holiday parties coming up. We've got Christmas card photos to be taken. And she said, I have got an offer for you. And I said, what is it? And she said, you go get your hair cut and I will let you live to see Christmas. And I said, I accept your terms. But the long hair is gone. And I do enjoy getting a haircut because I like to check my coverage. And I think I'm still doing pretty well for a guy in his late 20s. The Scotch controversy. We mentioned last Pancast that some people are offended by the use of the word Scotch to describe Scotch whiskey. I had never heard of such, but apparently they're out there. I saw a YouTube video on it with some guys talking about Scottish culture. And I put up a poll though and asked you guys, is it offensive to use the word Scotch in reference to Scotch whiskey? 436 of you guys have voted. That's a lot for a poll in 1 week. And let's see the results. Yes, it is offensive, 3%. 3%. No, 75%. And then I put up kind of the funny answer, I don't care, I'm using it anyway, 22%. So only 3% say that it is offensive. We've got a couple of comments under the poll. See, Invisible Kid 99 had some good thoughts on it. The first line here, as a Scot living in England. So right there, some real world credibility. He says, most people in the UK just call it whiskey. He says, if he's ordering a whiskey that isn't Scottish, he will use the country name. So apparently if he were ordering perhaps a Japanese whiskey, he would call it Japanese whiskey. I don't know, I'm reading that into it. He also goes on to say, however, if you're outside of the British Isles, I don't have a big issue with calling it Scotch. There are many whiskeys in the world, so calling one by its country name, I don't see a big problem. I think this is the most reasonable point of view here. And I think if you're in Scotland, you just call it whiskey. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When you're in Scotland, do as the Scottish Scots do and call it whiskey. If you're outside of Scotland and outside of the British Isles, as he says, I think calling it Scotch is perfectly acceptable. And hopefully that will lay the Scotch controversy to rest. Probably not. We are on the internet after all. And Mark Cook 7935 might have had the best take overall. He said, make mine a double and you can call it whatever you want. Carbon steel seasoning. Someone with an incomprehensible screen name asks, how do you prevent the outside of a carbon steel skillet, especially the surface that comes into contact with fire, assuming he's talking about a gas stove, how do you keep it from getting rusted? When I season a carbon steel skillet, for example, this one right here with a stainless steel handle, if I were to season this pan in the oven, I would wipe this pan down with oil, and I would also wipe the bottom of the pan with the oil, and I'd wipe it until it looks dry, and then season that in the oven. And that generally takes care of any problems on the bottom of the pan. It essentially gets seasoned as well. For pans I use on the stovetop, I don't do anything special for the bottoms of the pans. I don't season the bottoms of the pans, but what I do is when I clean the pan, and I add those couple of drops of protective oil after the pan is cooled down and dried, of course. I wipe those all around the pan, and I wipe the bottoms of the pans as well. And generally, even without doing any dedicated seasoning, that is plenty for the bottoms of the pans to keep them from rusting. See, Daryl L. Richmond wrote in about that Ninja air fryer review, and he says, I thought you were against non-stick surfaces. That's actually a very good point. I do not like non-stick cookware, and that Ninja air fryer had a non-stick basket. I'm not a huge fan of the air fryers to begin with. I think the food is only moderately good as opposed to really good in deep fried food. And that's one more reason I may not like the air fryers quite as much. But it gets me to thinking. I will do some digging around and a little bit of research and see if I can find an air fryer that has a stainless steel basket and let you guys know what I find. Beef tallow. We've been really talking about beef tallow versus seed oils a lot here the last couple of weeks. I've tried this beef tallow and I'm liking it so far. So I've been kind of going tallow crazy. Made some potatoes in it. The other day I found some fresh okra for once at my local supermarket. Cut that up, breaded it in cornmeal, salt and pepper, and fried that up. And it tasted pretty good in the beef tallow. And believe it or not, I got some for my mom, 81 years old, down in Alabama. I got her some beef tallow, and she's been using it to make biscuits. So these are genuine, real deal Southern homemade biscuits made with beef tallow, and she says she's been really enjoying it. 81 years old, still making homemade biscuits. And I'm liking the beef tallow so far. Are you a vegan butt? A vegan butt? What on earth is a vegan butt or a vegetarian butt? It's when you talk to someone and they say, I'm a vegan, but I also eat cheese and butter. I'm a vegetarian, but I also eat fish. Well, you're not technically a vegetarian then, are you? But for those people who are vegan butts and vegetarian butts, if fish is one of the things you eat, Nestle is now coming out with some plant-based fish. Oh, Lordy. But maybe there's a market out there, the vegan butt and vegetarian butt market for some vegetarian fish. And I remember, stupid story time, I remember back when I used to work in Yellowstone, there was a hippie couple from California, and the guy, I mean, it was stereotypical, the tie-dyed shirts, the long hair, the beard, the flip-flops, sandals. I mean, a true California hippie. And he said he was a vegetarian. I asked him why, and I bet, I'm just making up a statistic here, but I bet 50% of the male vegetarians have this as their reason. He became vegetarian because his girlfriend wanted him to. But he told me one time, after a couple of beers, he said, don't tell her, but every couple months or so, I sneak out and have a pepperoni pizza. So I always did like that. He was one of those vegetarian butts. The one thing I always tout here at Uncle Scott's Kitchen is I try to have integrity and honesty in my reviews. I buy everything I review, I buy it with my own money. So all this Debouillet stuff you see here, I actually purchased all this stuff with my own money. I'm sure they would send me some free stuff if I asked, but I don't ask and they don't send me any free stuff. I do have the affiliate shopping links. Now, how did that come about? I did reviews on this pan, and I believe this pan, about 4 years ago now, and I think I had maybe 40, 50,000 views on those videos, and I had been covering Debouillet stuff for about a year when I finally reached out to them and said, hey, I run a site called Uncle Scott's Kitchen. I like your cookware. Would you guys like to have a phone call sometime? And I got an email back very soon thereafter, and they said, oh, we love your videos, and they said they send the videos over to the corporate offices in France. They had all been watching my videos, and the executives had been watching me use carbon steel skillets and watching me cooking those things. So, executives from a French high-end cookware manufacturer watching me cooking their pans. A little bit nerve-wracking there. But we started talking back and forth, and I told them how much I love their pans. They said they liked the videos. I asked them, is there some sort of affiliate program, or if I recommend these, is there some way to get some sort of sales off of them? Because I do have Amazon affiliate links. Most of the things I talk about, although not all, there's some way to purchase, generally speaking. And you can buy some of the Debouillet stuff on Amazon. But I asked them, do you have an affiliate program? And they said, well, we're thinking about starting one. Would you like to be the guinea pig? I said, heck yeah, I would like to be the guinea pig. So I think I am the first ever affiliate partner for Debouillet. So that is kind of cool. And that's been going on, 3 years or so now. And they're very nice to work with. It's kind of crazy in the cookware world. I don't know if it's similar to other industries, but sometimes I will send emails to companies. I'm not going to name names here, but some companies, they respond and they're kind of snippy, and some people respond and they answer a question other than what you asked about. Some companies just ignore my emails altogether, but Debouillet has been nice to work with. So they were nice to me back when I just had a few subscribers, and they are still nice today, and it's very nice to get this discount code. Now, they don't buy advertising, they don't do a sponsorship, they don't pay me directly. I do get a commission if you buy through those affiliate links, but just tooting my own horn here, that 30% off, that is the best deal on carbon steel from Debouillet I have ever seen, and you can't get it anywhere else other than here at Uncle Scott's Kitchen. Okay, that wraps her up for this episode of Uncle Scott's Pancast. Make sure you check out that Debouillet carbon steel discount deal. Discount code SCOTT30 at checkout for 30% off carbon steel at Debouillet. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Pancast.